from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. I'm your host, Scott Hammer. That's
in the box, Kathy.
Ron Miller talking about some box right there. Not sure what's going on there. Hi, welcome to the show, Ron.
Yeah. Oh, hi there. Yeah.
Are you busy? Should we come back later?
Yeah, could you please?
All right.
Give me a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll make him go away for a minute. Live from the virtual Ron Miller Race Car Studio. It's the Hammer Down Racing Report. Live on Facebook at least. And maybe next week, we may be returning live on YouTube. You can get us pre-recorded on YouTube. But for now, we're only live on Facebook. But you can also listen to us iTunes, Google, whatever. Wherever your favorite... wait. We'll bringing Ron back in here. You good now?
Yeah, okay. Sort of.
Listen to us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
She didn't know where the controller for my headphones was.
Oh, she had control of your volume?
No.
Okay.
Since I've got the headphones on tonight, she can't hear me through this, and I don't know. She's got a dumbfounded look.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, we don't have the studio where there's multiple headphone jacks to plug in. Sorry. At least not yet.
Well, actually there is. She just didn't know where they were.
Oh, well, you got a cool setup going over there.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us on Facebook as well. We would appreciate that. Tonight on the show, we have the Flagman. We're going to meet the flagger tonight, talk to Matt Swander. He's got a lot of good stories and a lot of insight into different races. He's been working different tracks, so we're going to learn about him, and we're going to meet the flagman tonight. Figured last weekend we got rained out at a bunch of places, not much going on. But you guys are still, you guys, we'll bring you back. We'll bring you back in just a minute. We'll go through the sponsors here first before we bring in Matt and bring Ron back in. Still not sure what's going on there. Make sure to support our sponsors, Big D's Pizza over there in Clyde. I wonder if he was busy. I wonder if President stopped by while he was over there. Thanks to Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race every Saturday night, except for last Saturday because we got rained out. But they'll be back in action this Saturday night with Central Collision Night, all four classes racing. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Also, Kester Mowing. Give Kester Mowing a call for all your lawn landscaping needs. Speaking of which, we forgot to turn this little guy on here. Steve can be reached at 419-466-3801. Tell him Hammer Down Racing Report sent you. Millstream Speedway, they're still working on bringing racing back to the Findlay area. Make sure to follow them on Twitter, Facebook, or millstreamspeedway.net. A little bit of a setback there with the whole pandemic deal going and trying to get fans back in the stands. Freeze Frame Photos also sponsoring us. You guys can't hear this, but I still hear Ron and Kathy talking over there. They can't hear you, Ron. You're still in the queue. Only I can hear you. It's only slightly distracting. Freeze Frame Photos for all your racetrack photo needs, whether on the track. Stop it. They have 25 years of experience at Oakshade, Toledo, and other local tracks. They can meet all your photo needs and do photo shoots by appointment. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments, frozen in time, 419-476-9978. And, of course, Ron Miller Race Cars. Give them a call, 734-856-7223. Race Cars, parts, safety, equipment, service, everything a racer needs. And coming up a little bit later on tonight, we'll play How Many? Your chance to win a large Big D's pizza. And the weekend weather pit stop with me, Scott Hammer, in for Ryan Weekman, who's out of the office this week. And right now, how about we bring in our special guest this week, Mr. Matt Swander.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Ron?
Yeah.
There he is.
And
go back to this layout.
I'm going to tell you he's a darn fine flagman, Scott. Let's start the show with that. I really appreciate it.
You just don't want him to wave the black flag at you. You're kind of brown-nosing, I think.
Oh, he ain't going to do that. I'd have to do something wrong for that to happen.
I don't think so. Oh, I have him muted. I suppose I should unmute him so we can actually hear him. Hi, now we can hear you.
Hi, gentlemen.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me tonight. And Ron, you did do something wrong the other night at Oakshade. You spun out right in front of me and about took out the field.
Boy, that was pretty scary.
It was. I thought you were going over for a minute. I really thought you were going to roll her when I seen that tire come off.
It had me worried. And we still haven't figured out why it happened.
There, Chris Mize knows what's going on between Ron and Matt there.
Yeah, well.
So Matt, give us a little bit of background in your how you've gotten into racing and how you became how you've gotten into flagging.
Well, I went to my first race. I was approximately 6 weeks old. I was born in July, and I think I went by the middle to the late of August back to a track that Ron may remember. Scott, I don't know if you remember it, but the old Avila Motor Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
It's where I live at. I'm approximately about 8 miles north of there, where it used to sit, and now it's all just flat commercial land with a McDonald's on it, the whole 9 yards. But my family raced there for many years. And my Uncle Mark was the big influence, and he's eventually the one that got me into flagging one night up at the Angola Motor Speedway. He needed to back up, and ever since then, I've been the man in the stand in some form or fashion.
How long ago was that? When did you start doing Angola?
I believe this will be my 9th year of officiating, and all 9 years I've flagged at least 1 or 2 races throughout the year. I also did some pit steward work. I did have a short career as an announcer. People decided I talked too much and announcing wasn't good for me.
Maybe we should switch one night.
No, I'm good. I got the best seat in the house, and I don't want to give it up.
Okay.
I remember our old announcer, Larry Jewett, took one turn in the flag stand, and that didn't go so well. So, yeah, I think everybody has their own specialty and ought to stick with it.
Yeah, I think the first time a rock comes flying up and hits Scott, we'll be calling in for life flight to get him to the nearest trauma center. So, yeah, we'll leave him up in the tower with Pam.
That's almost as dangerous, though.
No comment. She's the boss that signs my paycheck.
There you go. So what do you enjoy most about flagging?
I'd grown up around racing. Even after I got married, my wife had never been to a racetrack. She started going with me when I was a newlywed. My son's getting into it. He has his own set of mini flags. And it's just the sport I grew up around and I love. I mean, my uncle lived next door to me growing up, and about every night I'd hear the car fire up and I knew it was time to work on the race car, whether it was a modified street stock. We've had an outlaw late model, sprint car, you name it. We pretty much worked on them.
How did you get to drive any of those cars?
On the trailer and off the trailer. That's my experience.
Not on the track, though.
I'm getting old, so my memory's not the best, but I think I may have hot lapped one, or not hot lap, but help run the track in once, sitting on my uncle's lap, but he had still full control. Then there's probably good reason for it.
Did any desire to be in a race car, or you like your view from up on the flag stand?
My view is much nicer, and honestly, it's a whole lot cheaper.
That is true. Although
sorry, I don't have to go to Ron Miller Race Cars every week to fix something, so I'm quite happy with that.
It's been almost 2 weeks since I've had to go there.
Well, yeah, because we didn't race last week. I wasn't going to be there last weekend. That was my wife's birthday weekend. We took the weekend off, but yeah, I would have got a full report, and I'm sure Scott would have been in the report for doing something silly.
So what other tracks have you flagged at other than Angola and Oakshade?
I started at Angola, worked there a couple years. Then I went down to the now, how do you say it politically correct, defunct Bearfield Speedway in Fort Wayne. Worked there a couple years. Took about half a year off, and then ended up in Quincy, Michigan at Butler Motor Speedway for a couple years. Sure. And left there, and now you're blessed with me at Oakshade.
Good way to put it.
I've also worked a show at New Paris Speedway, which has a huge event going on as we speak. They go green here in about 10 minutes for their 19th annual Summer Sizzler. Worked a show there for Haas Sprint Car Series asphalt track, And I've also flagged a show down at the Winchester Speedway in Winchester, Indiana, which is absolutely insane to be there. That is the fastest track I've ever been to.
I was gonna say, I've only seen races from Winchester on TV. I haven't been there in person, but it looks like a pretty crazy high. It looks like a little Bristol or something.
It is actually, from what I was told by a track official down there, is more banked than Daytona International Speedway.
Nice.
And I walked banking the year I was down there and worked a show. I was a lot lighter, and it still killed my legs. It is such a steep banking.
So it's almost like those motorcycles that go around in that enclosed ball where they're around sideways.
That's a very good analogy. It's insane, but well worth the trip. I will say that.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite flag at all? You know, is there one that you like better than the other? We lost Ron, by the way. I'm not sure where he went. We must have lost his connection there.
Well, when the bombers are out and there's a certain blue bomber out, I really love the black flag. But honestly, if a flagman doesn't love the checker flag, then he's in the wrong position. If he loves the black flag, that's not what it's about. I should be happy seeing someone else get a checker flag, not having the black flag him for a reason. So, yeah, definitely the checker flag's my favorite.
That's because it's like, finally, it's over. Thank God I can get off this flag stand now, right?
I ain't going to lie. There's been nights like that. I'll be honest.
Hey, welcome back, Ron.
Well, you punched the wrong button. I could hear everything.
Well, you just disappeared. We just continuing on here. So you've probably seen some pretty crazy stuff, you know, given all of your experience at different racetracks. What are some of the crazier things that you've seen on the track from the flag stand?
Opening night in Angola one year, first hot lap session for street stocks. A guy come out and he was smoking like a cigar. So I black flag him, get him off the track because I know he's dropping fluid.
Not like smoking hot, just smoking like his car was. Okay.
And,
I thought you were like, hey, look at that guy. He's smoking.
So the guy goes to go off the track in turn one. And the next thing I know, my race director screaming in my ear, red, red, red. So I look up. This guy's doing somersaults off the end of the track. And
the car, not him out of the car.
He was inside the car. When he flipped and hit the wall, it broke his seat out.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It busted the seat out the whole 9 yards and then took out half the concrete wall. So we were under red flag for a while. So I walked over there. And the guy was like, that was kind of cool. And I'm thinking, man, you're nuts. You just flipped all the way down the front stretch, basically, and you think that's cool? But I've stopped a fight on the front stretch before after a guy walked all the way from turn 3 to turn 1 to get at a guy.
Are you supposed to do that, though? I thought that's where promoters wanted them to fight, is on the front stretch.
Well,
it's the pits you don't want them to fight at.
That's the running joke, but no, the promoter come on the radio because the push truck couldn't get the guy stopped. Safety team couldn't get him stopped. He kept dodging them, and it was at Angola for a big Stain Perry Memorial outlaw race. And I think the gentleman's name, if I remember it, was Mike Mazzagutti or something. He got shoved off turn 3 and come all the way across the infield. Well, I come out of the flag stand. I was the backup flagman that night. And I got a hold of him at the front stretch, and he kept trying to get away from me. And I was 2 or 3 times his size. And I finally grabbed him by the shoulders and said, Mike, let me handle it. Go back to the pits. And about that time, my promoter hollered, hey, let him go. I turn around, and the sergeant working that night, security, he's there. He goes, Matt, I'll take care of this. All he did was showed Mike the taser, and Mike calmed down and went back to pit side. So
you didn't happen to be at Angola the night that we won the weekend that we won the Outlaw show, and it was probably 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun show.
They have a real big show this weekend too up there. They don't run Outlaws anymore.
No, this was a Run What You Brung show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ron likes those.
Around here, they don't run the Outlaws much anymore, other than New Paris is running the Sizzler tonight, and then I think South Bend will run them occasionally. But the Outlaw late models on asphalt is a dying breed over here in Indiana, at least. But I've also had some bad things happen at the track. I mean, we just had a couple last time we raced with that young lady in the front wheel drives.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I have a driver get injured, that bothers me. I've
take it personally?
I've actually lost a driver. He passed away at my track one night. He had a fatal heart attack after his A main in the street stock class. So yeah, I take that real personally.
I have noted. Go ahead.
Thinking what I could have done different, and with the heart issue, there's nothing I could have done. I didn't even know what was going on until the next race was going, and I had to red flag it for a flip. And my promoter called me on the radio and said, "Hey, we got a medical situation." Well, with my medical background, I went back to the pits, and there was enough people there at the time. I just kind of supported them, and yeah, they ended up having to call it. And that was the roughest thing I've ever had to do at a racetrack, is watch that transpire.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to ask you a little bit about your medical background in that.
Yes, sir.
But first, one thing I've noticed about you is you like to get off the flag. You get down on the track a lot, and it's been a while since I've seen a flagman get down on the track, go check things out. What is there a reason behind that?
I'm going to do what I can to make the show run the best I can. And if that means I got to get off the flag stand and go help somewhere else, by all means. I'm a little older and a lot heavier now, so I don't get there as quick. I mean, last year when Roscoe tried to play NASA off turn 3, they called me on the radio and said, "Hey, we need some help over here." We had some issue with keeping people back, but I get over there and the medic goes, "Matt, I can't reach him. Can you get him?" So I said, "Okay, yeah, I can get him." Went up, "Roscoe, just hold your arms in. I'll get you out of here. Don't try and fight me. Just let me do it." So I just got him out. What was it? A month ago when we had that bomber A main wreck on the front stretch?
Something like that.
We had what was it? We had one medic that night because there was right before showtime, our other medic got called out to a structure fire with somebody possibly trapped inside. Okay, he's got to go take care of that responsibility. And so I told the medic, I said, "Something happens, I will be there. I'll have somebody come get me if it's on the backstretch, but I'll be there." Well, when I seen it happen, I've been around racing long enough, I knew this was serious. I watched Jason get over there with his push truck, and he started waving for the medic. I had already went red flag by then because the front stretch was blocked. I knew it was serious. I had 5 cars involved, so I went flying down there the best I could. And that's when we were working with Rendell and made sure he was okay. We got him out of the car pretty good and got him back to the pits. We were lucky we had a nurse there that night with us on our push truck team. And so I'm like, you know what? You're more qualified. You help out with the patient. I'll finish cleaning up the accident. Whatever it takes to get it done. And if a flagman's too good to get out of the flag stand to help out, then honestly, he's probably in the wrong spot. I mean, I've been known to get out to help break up fights. I want everybody to come enjoy themselves as much as they can. And if I got to do something to help that, I will. And
strictly from the flagging standpoint, I very much appreciate what you do. A lot of tracks, when we've got one lap to go before we go green, they throw the white flag. In my book, the white flag means you're the next to last lap. So that makes a whole lot more sense. And I appreciate the fact that you use the layover flag occasionally.
Which is the blue and yellow. The blue and for the folks that don't know, the blue and yellow flag, because sometimes
right, the blue with the yellow diagonal.
They're like, "Hey, why is he showing me that blue flag? That's cool. It's pretty."
Well, I appreciate that because it keeps the racers from being a factor in someone else's race. Not that you're going to slow down and get out of the way, but you keep your line, and it just keeps you from being a factor for somebody else.
See, at Butler, when I was in the flag stand, I had race receiver control or radio communication. And a lot of times during the race, I wouldn't talk to the guys unless there was a caution or a red flag. I would call that out while I was waving the flag. But when we used the layover, we didn't really use it much up there. But we would get on the race receiver and we would say, 35, hold your line, leader's approaching. And honestly, I don't expect you to move out of the way unless you're drastically slower. But I just want you to hold your line. That way the leader, he can pick whether to go high or low to pass. And that doesn't mean it's going to be the right way. But hold your line, let the leaders race for the win. And that's all I'm asking.
And that's good. In dirt cars, you don't have mirrors, so you don't know the leader's coming up behind you.
Or radios, or anybody paying attention to what's going on.
Whatever you hear what the tower tells you, or at Butler, apparently what Matt tells you, the receiver community.
And quite honestly, I hope Pam understands, but when you're racing flat out, it's really, really hard to understand what she's saying. You pay attention to the lights, and, if she goes yellow, 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 hopefully you hear it.
Yeah. The biggest one I hate is when I go red flag and guys don't pay attention. Because if I'm going red flag, there's a reason. Stop your car and let whoever needs to go wherever get out there, because there's a serious need. And I had a ambulance almost get hit one time. And needless to say, the next driver's meeting was not very friendly.
Are you part of the driver's meetings then at Oakshade?
No, I have not been to one. I believe that's something Chrissy handles, and I'm fine with that. If I have an issue, I relay it with her, and she addresses it. But get back into the ambulances almost getting hit. That happened earlier this year at Angola Speedway. They had a big wreck up off 1 and 2, and I don't know what happened, all the details. I just seen the video on Facebook. The ambulance comes pulling out of the pits to head towards the turn 1 accident. And here comes a modified and drills it right in the side. The last I heard, the modified had to get reclipped. The ambulance sustained damage, but was still usable. So that's a big reason why I'm like, red flag, you stop until I tell you or whoever tells you to move. Because I don't want to delay someone getting help if they need it.
With your EMT background, let our listeners know why sometimes a racer is put into the ambulance, but then they send another ambulance to take him to the hospital.
Because of Big Brother insurance. I would say probably 95% of the ambulances you see at a track are not permitted to transport. Every track I've worked at, we were not able to transport because of legal reasons. We could put you in the back of the bus and take you to the front gate, but to take you off the track's private property, insurance regulations wouldn't allow it. Now, I've been to Eldora. Yeah, they can transport. They have a helipad. They usually have a helicopter there for the bigger shows. But yeah, that night, what was it, a couple weeks ago when, I believe, what was her name? Vanessa.
Yep.
That front wheel drive wreck. We got her into the back of the ambulance. The guys did. They called Pam and said, Pam, we need an outside transport unit. And that's when that, I don't even know who it was, showed up to transport there at the main gate just to keep the track running, because if something happens, our ambulance transports and then the patient gets worse or gets injured again, that's a whole big mess that nobody wants. And an insurance company will shut you down in a heartbeat for something like that.
And there's too many reasons right now that tracks can be shut down, so we don't need another one.
Exactly.
So what is your background as an EMT? I mean,
I'm a former firefighter, first responder, which is I guess you would say a very basic medical person. Next step would have been a EMT. Did that for a couple of years. I've worked in law enforcement for 2 or 3 years. I haven't done it for quite a few years. I still read up and watch things. I still talk to a lot of guys. A friend of mine is the director of safety for Motor City Racing Promotions, the safety director for Nashville Speedway. I've been talking to him a lot this last couple of weeks after the real tragic accident down at Montpelier. Something good's come out of that, and I'm thankful that we were able to get something done. But I still talk to a lot of the local firemen around here. I still try and watch some videos, read up things as far as related to motorsports. If there's something we can do to make it better for the fans, for the staff, for the drivers, I'm all about bringing it up to date. Me and Andy, one of the medics there at Oakshade, we talk quite a bit throughout the week on Facebook. Articles we'll share back and forth just to try and be better prepared in case of a serious incident.
Aren't there a couple of EMTs in the push trucks too?
I believe so. That's where our nurse, when she's there, she rides usually with Mark in the red push truck a lot. And Wasion is 6-7 miles away. So if something serious was to happen.
You guys talking about Amanda?
No, Terry Cox's wife.
Yeah. Sometimes she's in the truck.
Yeah, that's well one more, Scott.
Yeah. I had a motor from her. That's Amanda's Monster. Used to power the Ocho a few years ago when I blew my motor.
Oh,
another story though. Anyway.
Oh.
So you're heavily involved in motorsports. You support it. I mean, you've done asphalt tracks, you've done dirt tracks. Do you have a favorite? I mean, I see you got a Tyler Erb shirt on there. Who's your favorite racer?
I'm a huge Scott Bloomquist fan.
In the crowd moans.
Hey, whether you're cheering me or booing me, I'm still getting paid.
That's
what Scott said. I love Kyle Larson. Got to meet him a couple years ago, or last year down at the Dirt Derby. My son got a picture with him, and I will tell you, he's the most down-to-earth, personable guy to ever talk to. He took 5 minutes after he had just talked to a guy for 15 minutes. We stood there. He acted like it was no big deal. I mean, who's another one? Met Christopher Bell down at Winchester. The same year that I flagged down there, I flagged on a Saturday, went down for the 400 on a Sunday, and Christopher Bell was running it. Chase Elliott, my son's all-time favorite driver for some reason. I don't know, because I think he replaced Jeff Gordon, so we were Gordon fans here. So I didn't tell Dylan until we got down to Winchester. I said, hey, just so you know, Chase is here running it. His eyes got so big, and for a jigs show like that, CRA, they always have an on-track autograph session. Got to take him down there, meet Chase. And I will tell you, those boys were super nice to my son. He's a little 4, 5, 6-year-old kid. They treated him just like their own cousins or nephews. Got down on his level, talked to him, said, hey, buddy, you want a picture? You want an autograph? Eric Jones, Justin Haley, who is up and coming in Xfinity. I've actually flagged for him at Angola when he was 13 years old and come up and spanked the boys. And I mean, by about half a lap, he blew everybody's doors off. But I would say right now, my favorite's probably Kyle Larson. And I understand he's going through horrible time right now. He's
been having a good time on the dirt and the sprint until
last race.
Yeah, who sits there? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I'm definitely more on the dirt now. That's what Avila was when I was growing up. It went back and forth a couple times. That's what I've grown up as. I used to travel every so often to a speedway not too far from Oakshade. That's no longer there, and I'm sure Ron knows it. The Bryan Motor Speedway. Yep.
Oh yeah.
I used to live about 2 miles from there. Back when
I will support just about any dirt guy. I will tell you that young man we had come 3 or 4 weeks ago that put on one of the best driving shows I've seen in a long time.
Tyler Carpenter?
Yes, sir.
From West Virginia? Okay.
He was, the time I got to talk with him, he was super nice, super pleasant, and just down to earth. And yeah, everybody remembers him for his one line there at St. Louis. But he related to people. And you drivers, if you can do that, you're just adding to your resume so much more than an occasional win. If people like you, they will support you more than if you're an arrogant guy that wins every other race.
Rusty liked him so much he bought a shirt.
Exactly. You look at somebody like Kyle Busch. The guy can drive, no doubt about it. But when you have that kind of arrogance and mentality, you're going to run away fans. They're going to support somebody more like a Clint Boyer, who is more fan friendly and may not win as much, but he respects his fans. And that's what I've always tried to do with my drivers, my fans. I will always talk to them. I've always told the drivers, don't come to my flag stand during the show. Let someone know that you need to talk to me, and I'll talk to you all night long. As long as you're not being disrespectful, I'll talk to you. And the fans, same thing. Intermission, you want to come up and say hi? 3 weeks ago, we had a father bring up his little boy during intermission. He said, hey, my son wants to talk to you. I jumped out of the flag stand, talked to him for 10 minutes. And you know what? It's that kind of thing that's going to grow our sport and not kill it. It's when the arrogance comes out that everybody's going to be like, I can spend my time, my money elsewhere.
Now, have you had any altercations, drivers that maybe didn't like a call or didn't agree with a call you made, maybe coming to discuss it?
I had an incident where somebody wanted to, and it's always been my rule. Every track I worked at, you don't come to my flag stand once a car hits the track for hot laps. Just like if I go pit side, say at intermission, I need to talk to somebody about something that happened at a heat race. Let's say it's Ron Miller. He gets mad at somebody and just beats the tar out of somebody and dumps them.
That never happens.
Well, this is hypothetical.
I got you.
Okay, yeah.
Just like I don't want anybody coming to my flag stand, I'm not going to enter a guy's hauler unless he invites me in. That's just a respect thing. But yeah, I had somebody do it. And very quickly, my backup that night said, no, you're not getting in my flag stand. And I've always told my backup, your number one job is to keep everybody out of that flag stand unless they're an official. I went back and addressed it that night with the driver. And every meeting after that, I made a point of saying, don't come to my flag stand or you'll sit. And I parked a guy one night because he wanted to come up after his heat race and start yelling at me. And so he come out for the A-main, and I got on race receiver and said, nope, take it to the hauler. You're done for tonight. And when somebody asked me, I said, he come on to my flag stand. That's the rule.
How do you feel about two guys in the flag stand?
What's that?
How do you feel about two flaggers?
If the backup realizes his role and knows his role and doesn't try and take over and complicate things, I love it. Absolutely love it. I would love to have that young man that helped me a couple times last year come back with me and help me. But with COVID and everything, I can't have a backup right now.
I understand.
Especially
does an extra pair of eyes help you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, because there was some scuttlebutt on Facebook. You know how it happens every Sunday about the crash with Vanessa in the front wheel drive, about why the caution didn't get thrown right away. I'll be honest. I had thrown the white flag, and I always, to this day, if I throw the white flag for the leader, I'm watching that leader and relying on other spotters. Nobody's seen that young lady hit that block down there. I caught it out of the corner of my eye when Corey Gum was going into the 3 to come to the checkered. That's why I threw the white flag down. I already had the checkered. I threw the white flag down, grabbed the caution, and just went caution checkered, because at that point, he's in 3 coming out of 4. There's no pulling the checker back at that point.
Absolutely.
I threw the yellow light on, turned off the green, just went double. And it's like, that's where an extra set of eyes would come in handy. But sprint cars next weekend, yeah, I'm going to try and get a backup, just because those tumble bunnies, as I like to call them every so often, they you need an extra set of hands, because of if they start tumbling, you need to be able to grab your red flag real quick, and just it's all around better for everybody if you can have a second set of hands.
Did anybody ever tell you about when Terry was flagging that he threw the yellow? Had to throw the red flag to go out on the track and retrieve it, but
so he literally threw the flag.
He literally threw the yellow.
Now, I, for the first time in 9 years, dropped a flag on the track.
Nobody saw it.
Oh, I did. I did. I couldn't believe I did it. Luckily, I had another one in my bag. But I've heard stories of that, especially the black flag. People didn't want to heed the black flag, and I've known flagmen to actually airmail it right through the window.
Really?
Yeah.
Point made?
Yes. Yeah, when that driver made it to the office that night to have a discussion, he brought the black flag back with him.
Oh, how are those new? Speaking of, how are those new flags working out for you?
I have not used them other than the initial night because I need to cut the sticks down. And with my work schedule and just different things, I've not had a chance to get them cut down and sanded down to where they can work. They're sitting in my room right now, ready to go. They'll probably be in my truck on Saturday night. Who knows? I may pull them out.
They look like they'd be a handful.
The biggest flags I've ever seen.
Yes, they are the biggest that Speedway Motors makes. My wife bought them for my Father's Day present, and I love them. I just want to cut the sticks down just to make them a little more manageable.
So when are we going to see them again?
Maybe I'll bring the black one just for you on Saturday night.
That's good. I'll bring my black flag too from the tower. Black flag.
So who knows? I may pull them out Saturday night just for you guys.
There was at least this year, and maybe it's just me, but it seems like there's been more red flags this year than in previous years. Is that just me, or have you noticed that too?
That night we had 6 red flags. We had the 4 flips.
Yeah. I just mean this whole season in general, not even just that one night, but yeah, that one night we had how many cars roll over?
Yeah, we had 4 rollover upside down.
We had, the 4 rollover, the head on into turn 2 wall, I believe it was, on the back stretch, and then we had the car fire. The 6 red flags is more than I've ever thrown in one night in my whole career. And overall, I mean, at Butler, we ran 410 sprints every night, and they were good for a flip about every night. Usually we'd have one go upside down, or we'd have a wreck. That's one thing I've been blessed with. Pam has never questioned me anytime I've thrown a red flag, because you guys can't hear it, but anytime I throw a red, I'm on the radio communicating with her saying, okay, this is why I've done it. This is what I'm seeing. Who was it? The Outlaw, or the late model that hit the front stretch wall the other night and just destroyed his car.
Zach Calkins.
Yes.
The car
I started to grab the red, and then I looked down and I could see he was moving, so I knew he was somewhat okay. But like, if a driver hits a wall head on, or where I can see him and I don't see him moving, I'm not questioning it. I'm shutting the show down until we can figure out what's going on. But yes, we have thrown a lot of red flags, and truthfully, if I could leave the red flag in my bag the rest of the year, I'd be a happy guy.
Well, I've noticed too that a few red flags have been thrown where 2 or 3 tow trucks or push trucks are at the scene. And I appreciate that, because it keeps us from cycling around lap after lap after lap and complicating the cleanup. So it makes them quicker, and it keeps us from putting unnecessary laps on the car.
I absolutely am scared to death that one of my people are going to get hit one night.
Yep.
And if that means I got to shut her down.
And our guys are so quick to respond.
Yeah, the wreck with Jarrett and I think it was Amy St. Clair, there was like 5 cars. Ingram was involved there in turn 1. As soon as I seen how bad the track was blocked, I'm going red, telling Pam why I'm shutting it down. And if I remember right, we stacked everybody up in 4. But yeah, if my track's blocked, somebody's going to get hit or a car is going to get damaged. And you know what? That's not fair to either driver, the one that's in the wreck or the one that's going through. Plus, no reason my crew working the track needs to have that extra added stress because of cars still going by. It's just like the move over law that every state has now. You see the flag or you see the lights, you stop or move and get over. And if you can't do it, you just shut it down.
Click it or ticket.
Well, that's a funny story, because when I was a police officer, I was on a traffic stop. I'm out by myself on a highway, and I'm talking to this driver, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I seen the truck coming. I had to jump up on the side of this box truck that I was citing for speeding, and this car missed me when I went back and looked at the video camera by about 6 inches.
Ooh.
And ever since then, I kind of portray that into the track safety part. If I think my people are going to be in any form of danger, let's shut it down. Or if you watch, there'll be a lot of times, like say they're high on turn 1 wall, I'm pointing at my drivers, telling them to get down because of that reason. And I said it earlier, I just want my people to come, have fun, and go home because we all got families outside of here. And that's the number one thing.
I think a lot of times throwing the red flag speeds the cleanup.
It does.
It doesn't hurt anything.
Because they know the cars are shut down. So if they see something, they don't have to think twice about, hey, there might be a car coming. They can just go take care of the problem and then get back to work.
Well, there could still be a car coming if they don't heed the red flag, but that's another story. One last question for you, Matt, because we got to move on here. And you're welcome to stick around for the rest of the show if you would like and add your 2 cents.
If you've got any opinions.
Yeah, because you don't have any that I know of.
No, dude, that's only why I send you so much throughout the week.
Yeah. So I've heard you mention kind of off and on, you're kind of hinting at, putting the flags up and retiring, but then you don't. What is, where are you standing right now on that? Is this something you plan to do for, the next few years, or what is this, what's going on there?
Go day by day. I mean, my son has some health issues, but we were fortunate enough. I was going to hang him up last year. We got some good news, talked to the wife, and she said, okay, yeah, go ahead and do it. I don't see myself quitting, but that could change.
Until you can clone yourself or have somebody sufficiently trained, we don't allow it. So end of the deal.
Honestly, if I could flag one race at Kokomo Speedway, that's like my bucket list. It would probably be a lot easier. I'd eventually like to get a shot to flag down there for a show, but I'm enjoying what I do. My family is very supportive of what I do. My son will probably come with me this year once we get some restrictions lifted to where I can have him with me.
Sure.
But take it day by day.
And the racers, I think, like the job you're doing up on the flag stand too, except for when you black flag them.
And truthfully, I can say honestly at Oakshade, I have not black flagged anybody that I haven't been given orders to other than people not wearing their safety gear. And that's a whole nother story for another day. Don't come on my track without your safety gear.
I thought you were black flagging me not last week, but the week before, when actually you were black flagging the car behind me that had some pieces hanging off of it.
Yeah.
What the hell are you black flagging me for? You're pointing right at me, I swear.
But
just a guilty conscience, Scott.
You need to work on your pointing.
Okay, I'll make you a promise. Next time, I'll airmail the black flag right to you.
Appreciate it. That's the way to do it. All right, we're gonna move on with some racing news here, and like I said, you're welcome to stick around if you like.
I would love to, but I have stolen my son's game room to do the interview tonight, and I'll be going to bed before long because 3 o'clock comes early for us garbage men. I will say thank you so much for the opportunity, and everybody, one thing, get your backside trackside this weekend because we don't know how many more weekends we're going to get to play.
That's it.
And people can watch your backside from the stands.
Hey, I'll dance for you if you want me to.
I know the 50-50 girls, they like to watch the flag guy from behind.
They got shallow lives in if they like to watch the flag guy because he's fat and horrible.
All right, then. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Matt Swander, flagman at Oakshade Raceway and other tracks, and man of many hats.
We'll wait after Saturday night, buddy.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya. There you go. Forgot to mention Continental Service, one of our sponsors earlier. We got too many. It's like a whole page worth of sponsors I have here.
Never have too many.
Continental Service Auto Repair in Adrian, Michigan. Thanks for their support. 517-263-8573. John Morton up there. Some racing from last weekend. There was a little bit. Attica Raceway Park was in action on Friday night. And originally it was supposed to be that World of Outlaw show that was changed. And then they had no general admission tickets. They only had pit passes, but you could sit in the grandstands. Cap Henry had a heck of a battle with Travis Philo the last few laps of the 410 AFCS feature on Friday night, with Henry coming away with his 4th feature win of the season. Rusty Schlenk made a late race pass on Ryan Missler, who was debuting his 50 car for the first time this year. I guess Missler was leading most of that race, but Rusty Schlenk got him there at the end, took the win, and Jamie Miller got his second 305 win of the season at Attica. Of course, Oakshade Raceway, Fremont Speedway, both Saturday night tracks did rain out, as it was a pretty crummy weekend for racing. Toledo Speedway, though, they got their Friday night show in. They're supposed to have the Twin 200s, the doubleheader there for the ARCA series. Friday night, 17-year-old Sam Mayer earned his first ARCA Menard Series win at Toledo Speedway. And then he got his second win.
On Saturday night.
Well, Sunday.
Well, yeah.
They started on Saturday. They moved the time up on Saturday. I guess they moved it all around, but finally
I think they had 6 laps in on Saturday, and
then
it became obvious it wasn't going to happen.
They got to I did put it in here. They got to lap 127 on Sunday before they called it due to rain. So yeah, what was it 73 laps short of the 200 lap distance. But Sam Mayer again.
God, you did math in your head.
I did just now. It's crazy. I have no idea how that happened.
I am amazed.
Yeah, it was crazy. World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Series was rained out. Both races last weekend at Wayne County Speedway on Saturday and Plymouth Speedway on Sunday. Replacement dates are being worked on for both those tracks. Those guys will be at Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55 in Missouri. What is that, tomorrow? What's today, 6th? Yeah, tomorrow and Saturday for the Ironman 55 weekend. World of Outlaw, Morton Buildings Late Model Series. Jimmy Owens won Friday's Hoosier Dirt Shootout opening night feature at Kokomo Speedway. And Brandon Shepard won the second feature. I guess they had 2 features then on Friday night. Brandon Shepard won the second one. Saturday's action was postponed to Sunday, and then, of course, that got rained out as well on Sunday. Jimmy Owens, though, was back in victory lane Tuesday at Beaver Dam Raceway. Next up for the World of Outlaw late models is Cedar Lake Raceway. USA Nationals going on tonight. That's Thursday night if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio through Saturday night. Kyle Larson continued to roll, winning last Thursday at the Plymouth Dirt Track for his 11th All-Star win of the year. That's the All-Star Circuit of Champions. He then got win number 12 the next night at 34 Raceway. That was also his 28th birthday. I didn't realize he was that young. I guess I didn't realize didn't think he was any older, but Larson lost a contact lens on Saturday night at Knoxville, but that didn't stop him from earning a record-setting 7th win in a row in all-star competition. Unfortunately, that's where that consecutive win streak ended, because Saturday night at Huset's, Corey Eliason got the win, and Kyle Larson flipped hard earlier in the night in his heat race and was scratched from the rest of the event. So
pretty much used up a race car, I understand.
Yeah, I saw the video. I just finally saw it this afternoon. You can find it on YouTube or wherever. It's like he got in the wall and just kind of flipped down. It's a sprint car wreck. Not a good one. Not one you're going to fix for the feature, but that sucks for him. Other than that, I mean, he's had some pretty good luck or skill. I don't know if I would say it was luck.
The guy's been amazing.
It's making a good case for a ride back in NASCAR, I think, if they lift that suspension.
And they need to.
Maybe they put him in Tony Stewart's Superstar Racing Experience league.
Maybe.
Could happen.
Well, and Stuart Haas is retiring a driver at the end of this year, so that'd be a good fit.
That was Eric Jones, what Matt was talking about earlier.
Right.
Where was I here? Up next for the All-Stars is I-96 Speedway, and that's not until Friday, August 21st, so they're off for a few weeks here. And then Saturday, they're going to be Saturday, August 22nd. They'll be at Plymouth Speedway in Indiana. It's already talked about the ARCA Menard series. Next up for those guys is the Viscom 200 Sunday from MIS at 1 o'clock on MAV TV. So a lot of racing just up the road up in Michigan at MIS this weekend. Brad Keselowski won Sunday's Cup race at New Hampshire. Next up for those guys is also MIS. They have a doubleheader for the Cup Series, the Firekeepers Casino 400 on Saturday at 4 o'clock. and the Consumers Energy 400 on Sunday at 4:30, both at MIS on NBCSN, and you can listen to it on 103.7 CKY, Buckeye Country, as well. And hopefully those don't get pushed back any or start late, because 4:30, I guess it's still light out, and it's 7:52, so it should be all right. There's no lights at MIS, so they can't go into the night. UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals update. Well, they're in the break, so nothing to really talk about there. No,
off for a while.
Yeah, I think was it the 10th that they're back in action? So next week they should be back. NASCAR officials have announced the addition of a chicane to the Daytona Road Course. Daytona. You like the way I said that? Daytona.
Daytona.
The Daytona Road Course layout for the upcoming events at Daytona International Speedway. The chicane, which has been added off of the oval turn 4, adds another tactical element to the track, and I believe the reason they put it there was to get the cars slowed down, so to try and save the brakes, so they're not jamming on the brakes. Where is it? Right after the trioval, I think. Yeah, wherever it is. Yeah, cuts down some of that speed, so kind of breaks that braking down into 2 separate braking areas as opposed to one real hard one. Also, NASCAR will utilize the high downforce 750 horsepower Aero engine package for the Cup Series race there at the road course on August 16th. So I guess that's a little strange thing. We got some more NASCAR news. There's a lot of things that they came out with just this afternoon, as a matter of fact. We'll talk about in just a minute. Less than a week after the NTT IndyCar Series, officials confirmed the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course would host a doubleheader this weekend, as a matter of fact, August 7th through the 9th. Track officials have announced the postponement of both races. Officials have agreed to postpone the Honda Indy 200 until a date to be determined in September or October. The decision was made through communication with local health officials, given the current environment. And also out of IndyCar, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway released a statement announcing there will be no fans permitted for this year's running of the Indianapolis 500, which is coming up on August 23rd. First time in history that race will have no fans in attendance. It was announced earlier there was supposed
I thought they had announced there was going to be
25% capacity, but it has been determined that was a little over a month ago. They announced it would have 25% capacity for fans, but it was determined that it would be best not to allow fans after consultation with State of Indiana and City of Indianapolis officials. I guess the pandemics, the numbers are rising right in there, so they're just going to say screw it. And I know Roger Penske had said they're not going to run the Indy 500 without fans, but guess what? They're running the Indianapolis 500 without fans. Flat Rock Speedway released an update on their status last Friday, as a matter of fact, which basically said there's been no change in their status, which has been all their status updates so far this year.
Right. Yep.
Which is
updating their status was
is unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, it's good to it's cool that they're letting people know so that people aren't just wondering. But yeah, there's still no change, so there's no racing going to be going on there. Within the next 2 weeks, though, Toledo Speedway and Flat Rock Speedway officials will discuss options for the remainder of the season. I'm not thinking it's good, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
After making his stock car debut in the Arc Menard Series opener at Daytona International Speedway in February, David Gravel, he's set to sprint car racer David Gravel, set to make his NASCAR Gander RV and
outdoor.
Yeah, I put RNV outdoors. RV and outdoor truck series debut tomorrow night at Michigan International Speedway. He was originally scheduled to make his truck series debut at Eldora, but of course that got
didn't happen.
Yeah. So Gravel will drive the number 24 Chevrolet Silverado for GMS Racing with sponsorship from ChevyGoods.com. So that'll be interesting to see. That's tomorrow night? Is that what I said? Yeah,
yes.
Tomorrow night. Bob Levine, the owner of Levine Family Racing, has announced that he has sold his NASCAR Cup Series race team. He revealed the news in a statement posted to Twitter Tuesday morning. He did not announce who the buyer was in the statement. Levine will continue to field the team through the rest of the year. Christopher Bell driving that 95 car that De Benedetto was in last year. Gave him their best finish at Bristol, second. NASCAR has released the rest of its 2020 schedule. In the Cup Series, all 10 playoff venues and dates will remain intact from the original 2020 schedule, with the postseason kicking off at Darlington Raceway on September 6th. And you can see that whole schedule from the other national series on NASCAR.com if you're interested. There is another change. Oh, actually, before we get to that, whether or not fans will be permitted at any of those races will be determined on a market-by-market basis. They also announced this afternoon that starting this weekend at MIS, the choose rule will be in effect.
Really?
Yes, on all restarts for all their national series, the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series for the remainder of the season. So except for on the road courses and Talladega and Daytona. So with other than those exceptions, the choose rule will be in effect. And the choose rule, of course, which they debuted at Bristol for the All-Star race, they have that mark on the track where the drivers get to decide inside or outside lane for the restarts. Once they get to that point, they have to make that decision and either go above it or below it. And that's where they're going to restart. So it kind of takes the strategy out of trying to determine where you're coming off the pits as far as what lane you're going to be in for the restart. You can choose simply on the track.
Yeah, it's just one more layer of insanity on NASCAR's part.
I actually like that one. It's one thing I do like. They also announced some changes to how they're going to be doing the lineups, and I started reading it, and I just dreamweavered while I was reading. It's like, whoa. But they have some formula coming up for how they're going to do the lineups for the rest of the season, too.
One race that, actually a couple of races that I'm sure you did miss, Scott, the must-see sprint cars, and we've interviewed a couple of those racers, are heading for Wisconsin this weekend, and I believe those shows are live on MAV.
All right. MAV owes you some money.
Yeah.
Jeff Halligan.
Cheer on our local racers.
Jeff Halligan and Team Jeff Halligan Racing have been suspended from World of Outlaws competitions. The team failed a tire sample that was taken at Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania on July 23rd. Halligan actually finished 21st in the main event after topping qualifying in Group B. And he was also fined for that as well. I didn't realize they tested everybody's tires. I thought it was just like the top guys. Or is it a random thing? Don't mess with your tires. Be legal. Fremont Speedway has put out an announcement here regarding a couple of races on their schedule here. Unfortunately, with all the restrictions set during the week of the fair, the Tuesday, August 25th, Fremont Friends 305 fair race is canceled. I think they've had bad luck with that with weather the past few years. And if it's not weather, it's a pandemic. So that race is canceled for August 25th, that Tuesday race, the fair race. The Hall of Fame has also canceled the Johnny Oxter Day with vintage car racing that was scheduled for Sunday, September 12th. So some minor changes to the Fremont Speedway schedule. How about we play How Many?
Okay.
Last week's How Many was how many Eric Menard's cars will be in Friday's race at Toledo Speedway.
And Scott won that one.
Nope, Ron did.
Did he?
17. Scott was more optimistic and went with a higher number, while Ron went with a 22, and Ron was the closest for that.
And it was 18 cars in the pits, 17 started?
I think so, yeah. I got 17 is my magic number. And guess who our online winner was? Here's a hint. Same winner as last week.
Chris Mize?
No. Scott Warner. He was exactly right. 17. He's doing good with these pavement things. He guessed how many were right at, or how many supermods were going to be at Sandusky Speedway the week before, which he also picked 17. So I think that's like his lucky number now. So he gets a Big D's pizza. If you want a Big D's pizza, you can guess this week's How Many. Just put your guess in the comments on our Facebook Live video. You can do so after the video is not live. So if you're not watching us live, that's okay. Listen to us on iHeartRadio. It's cool. We don't want to cheat you. You can still put in your guess. You just have to do it before Saturday at about 5 o'clock. Because this week's How Many is how many Boss non-wing sprints are going to be at Fremont on Saturday night.
How many Boss non-wing sprints at Fremont Saturday?
And some of the guys, some of the 410 guys, the wing sprints, I know take off their wing and run with them.
Yeah.
So that might throw the mix. I haven't done any leg work on this to look and try and get a leg up on you. I figured you're on a winning streak. It's making you feel good. Give you another first guess here.
Oh my, 26.
Okay. I have no idea if that's a good guess or.
Me too.
What about Kathy? She got a guess this week?
Kathy, how many non-wing sprints at Fremont Saturday?
18.
18.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to say 24. And I think that's low. That's just me, though. So, again, you can play along online. Just put your guess in the comments. They're starting to roll in. Your first guess is the only one that counts. You just can't just put your numbers and keep going. And if somebody else guesses the same number as you, whoever guessed it first will get the credit for that Big D's Pizza. Yeah, John and Charlie, they're pretty optimistic there.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of racing this weekend, we do have some racing going on. Attica Raceway Park in action on Friday night with the Integrity Auto. I got to take a deep breath for this. You ready? The Integrity Auto and Truck Sales, Keir Speed Shop, Smith's Family Foods, Ferguson Water Works night. I guess I didn't need that big of a breath, but still. Yeah. The Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 sprints in action. I think I haven't seen the numbers go up, and I probably should have looked. Dwayne's been posting as far as how much that's paying. I think it was over 4,000. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I know he's been getting more money coming in, adding to that purse over the week here. But 410 sprints in action, the late models and 305s in action at Attica. Gates open at 5, racing 7:45. Pit passes only. $25 for pit passes. So they have lowered the pit pass price. And no general admission, although you can get a pit pass and sit in the grandstands, from what I understand. Just FYI. Saturday night, you got 3 tracks to choose from. Oakshade Raceway in action with Central Collision Night for the late models, Sportsman, Bombers, and Compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7 p.m. I think the last couple times they've been running an hour later, this time to keeping it at the 4 o'clock opening, racing at 7.
Weather's going to be much more tolerable this week.
Speaking of which, we'll have that forecast coming up just a minute with official backup Hammer Down Racing Report meteorologist Scott Hammer. General admission $14 there at Oakshade on Saturday night. Fremont Speedway is O'Reilly Auto Parts Night featuring the Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 sprints, 305 sprints, the Boss non-wing 410 sprints, the dirt trucks, all 4 classes in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. Tickets for general admission $18 there. Sandusky Speedway, if you want to save some money this weekend, that's probably the place to go. It's $1 night, $1 admission, $1 hot dogs, Pepsi and beer. Renegades, Pure Stocks, Beginner Stocks in action. Pits open at 3 p.m. Main gates at 4 p.m. Racing at 7. And like I said, general admission just $1 there at Sandusky Speedway. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any tracks doing the free thing, although this year's been kind of weird with the whole pandemic and stuff. But remember,
$1's darn near free.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. But as I mentioned, Ryan Weekman is off he's out of the office this week when I sent him the forecast. So I'm pulling up your forecast for you as the official correspondent here. We're looking at, wow, it's going to be a good weekend. It's a good weekend for racing. Really, that's all you need to say.
Beautiful.
79 for a high on Saturday. It's a big sun. That's all there is. Just the sun. Just a big sun. See that?
What about Friday? Remember, there's racing on Friday too.
That's what I meant. I'm actually looking at Friday.
Okay.
I said Saturday, but
big sun. Okay.
See, there's the Friday sun. 79, 50, 55 for the low, but it's not going to get there until later. So just bring a sweatshirt. You'll be all right. And then Saturday, be a little warmer. 83, get down to 62. No chance of rain. It's going to be good. It's a good weekend for racing. Fremont, Oakshade, Sandusky.
Really professional there, Scott.
I know it. That's the way to do it, though. So there you go. If you like the past few days, it's going to be a little bit warmer, but not much. So good stuff for racing. Next week on the show, we're going to try that new software that Doug Dock Oh, the first 50 people going to Sandusky are free, thanks to Flower-Rama.
Oh, my.
According to Randy Feekins there. So I remember they did something like that a couple weeks ago for the dollar night. So they do a lot of stuff there.
Sandusky Speedway, first 50 people in the grandstands, free.
That's right.
Wow.
You get to save $1.
Still dollar hot dogs.
Yeah,
So now you can buy 2 hot dogs.
There you go. So there you go. You want to get there. The main gates open at 4, so probably want to get there early to be one of the first 50 people. I like that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So as I was mentioning, Doug Dock from Sandusky Speedway had pointed me in the direction of this different software that we may try. If you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, you may not see our videos, but we do this video conferencing thing because we've been relocated from our studio where we did the show for the first couple years due to the whole pandemic deal, and still haven't returned to work. And I think they're still isolating with the studios, one group per studio. So it may be a while before we get back in there, but this new software will allow us to stream simultaneously to different platforms live. And hopefully, this is what I'm hoping. Hopefully you'll like this too. We might be able to do phone calls with it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So maybe we get Gary Lindahl on the show.
Yeah. Gary, I hate technology, Lindahl.
Yes. Or
I wonder if when he's at Flat Rock Speedway, if he's got one of those big old circle mics like Walter Cronkite used to have.
I think it'd be more funny if he had one of those little stick mics like they have for The Price is Right on the game show.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd make a good game show host. Now I think about it.
Probably.
Wouldn't he?
Watch out.
I think it must be an announcer thing that's like technology defiant, I guess, because Rick Eshelman, he doesn't even have Facebook. I think he's got an old phone too. He's always been kind of paranoid about all technology stuff. I don't know.
All right.
Then there's me. Then I got that. So we might try that next week. Thanks again to our sponsors. Ron Miller Race Cars, Big D's Pizza, Oakshade Raceway. We're the fastest meet to race. Kester Mowing. Don't forget to give them a call for your lawn landscaping needs.
Millstream Speedway.
It rains, so you might need to get your lawn mowed. Yeah, Millstream Speedway.
Continental Service.
Races coming back and freeze frame photos as well. Continental Service.
Yeah.
That's all of them. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow our YouTube channel as well. And we'll come up with something fun and exciting for next week's show.
Yes, we will.
I was kind of lazy this week. I apologize. I knew Matt liked to talk, so I didn't really prepare much for that. So,
and we did just fine.
Let Matt talk for a while. He has some interesting stories. So, you never really get to hear from the flag, man. You only get to see him if you're a fan in the stand. You've seen him waving the flag. You don't know. It was kind of, we peeled back the curtain, and you kind of got to look to see behind the curtain. Even the guys on the track, don't get to hear that communication that goes on between him and the officials. But anyway. So, that's it for this week's show. Tune in again, 7 o'clock Thursday night next week, Facebook Live, and possibly YouTube Live, and possibly on Twitter, Periscope, whatever.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. No promises. No promises. I got to test it out. I'll do that tomorrow, so I'll know more by then. So how about we get the hell out of here?
Works for me. It's dinner time.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll see you. See you next week.
Bye, Scott.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, folks.
That's the wrong one again. I did that last time, didn't I?
Yeah.
I played the wrong thing. See, maybe that's...
We're going to do this all over again?
We're just starting. Sit back. All right, we're out. Goodbye.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.